Yeah, that's Sanje Chedan
Soki Jonam La Janju Badu Dani Gapsi Gapsuchi Dagi Tuningi Pe Toktamki Jolam Banje Sange Dupancho
Sanje Chedan
Jodang Soki Jonam La Janju Badu Dani Gapsuchi
Daji
Dagi Tuningi Pe Toktamki Jolam Banje Sange Dupancho
Sanje Chedan
Soki Jonam La Janju Badu Dani Yapsuchi, Dagi Tuning, Gipe Takangi, Jolam Panche Sange Drupan Show. Gate Para Gate Para Sum Gate Body Swaha. Gate Para Sum Gate Body Swaha. Untaya Ta Gate Para Sum Gate Body Swaha.
Ola so simje tamje go do tobja lana ma cheba sanje ko mo mo je chine je toba cha di che de embe chanju se be la jana si se nyam so lang lang wa la shin go shin mo le tu go le tu je shu ma lo wa ko de ko so ba wa de ke se che mo shi wa la se be chunju go de che che me ni sam sam che.
And we begin by setting our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to quickly attain the peerless state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. And knowing that in order to attain such a state, we must perfect all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. And to perfect those trainings in turn, we must have a good knowledge of them. And we gain that knowledge only by being able to rely upon an unmistaken presentation. And thus it is that we are here this morning to listen to just such a text, the king of mind training texts known as the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, as composed by the great master Shantideva. And as we normally do, also, we set up the merit field in the space in front. In actuality, our own root guru, in the aspect of the greatly compassionate and skilled in means one, Shakyamuni Buddha. And the Guru Manindra Shakyamuni Buddha has one face and two hands, with the right hand in the earth-touching mudra and the left hand in the meditative equipoise mudra, holding an alms bowl filled with nectar. The Buddha is dressed in the saffron robes of a monk, and we have the actual sensation that the Buddha is really there. Likewise, we have all of the sentient beings, without exception, all kind mother sentient beings all around us. So that's the body of the Guru Manindra that we are visualizing in the space in front is marked by three syllables: Om at the crown, A syllable at the throat, and the Hung syllable at the heart center. Light rays, countless light rays emanate from the three syllables, the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha, going out and purifying all the negativities of all the sentient beings in all the three realms of existence. And all those negativities, including potential ripening effects, such as the ripened effect, the effect that is in accordance with the behavioral cause, with the habitual cause, the environmental results, all of these, as well as the negativities associated with the self-grasping attitude and the self-cherishing attitude, as well as the imprints of those minds, are all completely purified.
장시다. 안에 대대게 대대게 장시 다는 제베 안에 대대게 가서다 장시 다바체네 안에 디 장시 다바체베 안에 디 개와디 안에 초주세 개와세다 잡을야 추바피 안 초주 개와세다 잡을 추바피라 때는 초주 개와세다 잡에 가서도 투주를 대화종 대외 동바체 대통령이 니스베 이시 계속 선서 공바차
And the virtue then of all of this purification is offered back to the Buddhas, and that they then, on the basis of that sincere offering back, display the sense of being pleased, and that pleasure transforms into bliss, which combines with voidness, and they are able to abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness.
choba pyola 대다가 투규라 구스 대화도 대외도 대돈이스면 이시게 대다가 규군에 아니 뭐 대다가 구송도가 연대 예보라 나바 또바 샤제트면 나바 젠장네 랑게 되는 세더 나마 투에 온 것들 바템소 삼사제
younger song so the
그러다 근데 그서도 심제 탐제가 다 가서 내도 딕지 탐제 바 장사로 와 장외 장네 장바디 아니 개와디 안 초주 개와 세다 잡아라 추와피네 안 초주 개와 세다 잡아라 추와피와 될라 되네 초주 개와 세다 잡아 구송토라 구송토라 대화통 대외 동밖에 대돈이스면 시게 안 대다 교군에 아니 초주 개와 세다 잡아 구송토가 연대 임발라 남바 또 바샤제 투베 남발라 마 이시바 젠장 안 될라 랑게 되나 세다 라마 투베 공부 라 팀네 아니 될 이시바 응어서 주네다我这里是那我说20번我选的我20번我也没选那说是我这恐怕讲那是
and so the
so,
like
the listen 가서 다다데 다긴게라 디제 바카사데 라마 투베 옹보 세타바디 지원 점바 투가 홀레 웨세트네 심제 타데 네드 디제 타자 바 장사이 바 네드 디제 참제 장베기 다 장네 디 개와디 초주 개와 세데 잡을 초바 야피 초바표 할로 초바표 말할 때는 초주 개와 세데 잡을 어느 투줄의 대화통 대외 동밖에 대통령이 이시켜서 삼삼체 계속 성원에 걸어 계속 어디를 공부하자 안에 딜라 때는 안 초지 개와세다 집에 다 투주꾼네 초지 개와세다 집에 구송도게 연대 임발라 남바 동바 샤제트베 남바 젠다네 안 랑게 되나 세다 라마 투에 온 것들 바팀소 삼삼체 아니 이시바 온 것을 쇼소서 어디를 공부하자.
And so then as a result of the virtue of purifying all of these sentient beings, that is kind of offered out to in the 10 directions to all the beings of the 10 directions, that in turn all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, that in turn instigates a sense of bliss, which combines with avoidness, and they abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. That tension transforms into the wisdom beings. And wisdom beings then are invited from all of these realms. They come to the figure of the Shakyamuni Buddha in front and dissolve into the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha in front.
투갈레 외세트네 라야 투갈레 외세트데 아니 옹길 하나 젠다 아니 옹길 하나 젠자네 아니 대시샤와 탄제가 딜랑고 옹구도 수스네 아니 소아다 발라테네 아니 소아다 발라테네 옹길 하이테다게 옹구 옹구 발라테네 아니 출 하마 아니 용수 줄네 출 하마 하바는 용수 줄네 미게가 오게 되게 저거다 되지 고마시.
And so now the wisdom beings and the main figure of the merit field in front are inseparable. And then once again, the light goes out, and this is inviting back the empowering deities. And as a result of our making powerful supplications to the empowering deities, that they actually engage in the empowerment process through the nectar. And this then is again from the overflowing of that nectar on the crown of Shakyamuni Buddha, spontaneously arises the figure of Akshobhya.
고마시 어디 고마시 아니 어디는지 아니 되네 라마 투에 온 거지 아니 가서도 구유인데 수유인데 투유인데 틀레유인데 어디게도 고마시 안 되네 라마 투에 온 거지 어디는지.
Reflecting on the qualities of the Guru Maninja, the enlightened being, his body, speech, and mind, as well as the enlightened or skillful activities.
아니 랑가 타고디가 심지어 탐제게 아니 가서도 탐제게 탐제 대다 탐제자 아니 랑다 고군도 총화전에 대화되자 대화포 믿으면 동해를 동해 직전에 직난이 유되겠지. 와다든데 공부시.
And then reflecting on all the sentient beings all around us as well, we have this understanding of how desperately sentient beings want happiness, but they are bereft of that happiness, how desperately they want to be free from suffering, yet they are inundated with sufferings one after the other.
아니 딜라 대화도 된다고 잡았게 아니 랑게 되나 사이드가 라마 투여 온 거디 구송도가 연대 되거든 아니 다에다 봐 이지게 돼 봐 문제게 돼 봐 어디든지 공부시.
And so reflecting on the suffering of that suffering of the sentient beings brings forth that sense of compassion within us, and reflecting on their desire for happiness brings forth this sense of loving kindness within us. Also reflecting again on the qualities of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, the triple aspect of faith arises: the pure faith, manifest faith, and the faith of conviction.
아니 델레 용화래 니리 차단된 저와스고도 보다 델레지 저와되는 다게 지게 된데 전에 war라마 두배 징글라도 고마시.
And then we really visualize or really deeply think about how wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were, free from suffering and its causes, were able to enjoy happiness and its causes, that they were also, had this completely free of any discriminating bias of, liking some and disliking others, and that really generating that sense of powerful, special intention of, I must attain, therefore, the state of enlightenment to really help all these sentient beings.
And
so we make that we also, in the way we are thinking, we'd like to see that emulated in all the sentient beings as well, being able to think in this way.
제마도와 임바 인사 제마도와 인사 다 되네 제발 가도 아니 샘제기도 토자 랑라 우바사베 산지 고마좀 좀 탐민도 아니 데 루바지기 삼사겐 자주가 샘 더 좀 수제가 삼다 고들차.
And of course, when we have such massive aspirations as this, it becomes quickly apparent to us that forget about doing this for all sentient beings. We can't even do this for one sentient being at the present. And so again, we make sure to dedicate ourselves to really generating this, to attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, because we can see that this is the only state from which we can fully fulfill that aspiration. And so we make that prayer within to be able to generate an unadulterated, genuine mind of enlightenment.
대야다 뉴원이도 좀 맞으나 지금도 뉴원이도 아니 심제 탐제도 산제 고바 아니 그 토바 맞죠 탐도 토바 지금 삼사고다 고바시
And may this happen as quickly as possible, that I may be able to attain the state of enlightenment in order to be of benefit to sentient beings as quickly as possible.
오다 데레가 돈바데 라기 닌가 거돌라 이게 아치라 주소 삼사자.
And then at the heart center of the Buddha in front, we see the syllable ah. Us for our own heart centers, we see the syllable and so that mind of enlightenment symbolized by the syllable ah at our heart and at the hearts of all the sentient beings all around. From that then that transforms into the white moon disk.
로다 안디다 장주 생근냠네 아니 저기 차사와 삐다고 용투고 매바 인사 아니 딜은 여와도 샤라고 냠네 고고 요래 안디 인사 데야다 데네 임바 인사 오다 sem제 탐제거도 산제 공부 두개 생가데 가와도 째죄네 나데 가와서 나 셈데 리베 나데 아나 가서데 내 셈데 리베 내게 루이데 리베 다 이래서 봐 아니 차셔르네 봐 여와지도 나서데 니가 요마로 땅 많이 받아 나 매배 되려 말해 나 여바디 용해 주고 요래 되네 이마서 나 많이 받아 가리 따도서 나 세데 라완도 좀도 제 주고 요바 인사 아니 나 라완 제 저단데 라완도 좀 맞아 따단데 이마 인사 아니 라완도 맞아 봐 이마 인사 나 니가 요 말해 되네 인사 아니 라완도 좀 받아 뒤서 요 말해서 더다 주고 공부하셔
And so this attainment of the mind of enlightenment itself is something wonderful, but without the wisdoms, particularly the wisdom realizing emptiness and selflessness, then we are really hampered in our progress. And so we need to have that understanding of how to apply the antidote to the root cause of cyclic existence itself, this self-grasping. And so we make that understanding, we try to develop that understanding by reflecting on this I that wants to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and to engage in a more in-depth analysis of the state of existence of that I. And so we look for that sense of I, that self empowered sense of I. We look into the body. Is it there in the parts of the body? We look into the mind. Is it in the different aspects of the mind? And then we reach the end of that analysis simply by not finding that which we were looking for. And so we have to understand, what does that imply? Does it imply that there's the non-existence of an I? No, it does not. But it implies that it does not exist in the way it appears, the way I perceive it, in that it does not exist in any way objectively or self-powered. And so we reach that that sense of merely not finding what is known as the object of negation.
아니 되게 닌가 뼈마 담아 줘 봐. 라다랑 타고 심지 탐적이 가서 네가 뼈만 담아 가서 건다 다외经过약한 거 줘봐 다 뒤때도 이게 홍질을 줘서 섬사체
And then from that mind of that mere abiding in that moment of the mere negation of the object of negation, and then this transforms, that mind transforms into the syllable hung.
혼데라 셈데 어디르자 또 혼데 용수 줘발래 혼제를 어디 혼데 용수 줘발래 아니 가서 도지가고 쟁아봐 될라 홍게 참아 요게 어디를 제 공부하셔.
So that hung then transforms into the five-pronged Vajra, which in turn transforms into the sun disk.
가서도 어디다 말이야 가서도 되게 가서 문디셔와 뒤간데라 아니 도지들라 도지가고 쟁아봐 될라 홍게 참아 요게.
Oh, sorry, the actual, I've gone too far. The mind transforms into the five-pronged Vajra, which sits upright, vertical, on top of the moon disk, symbolizing the mind of enlightenment.
And
this Vajra is marked by that syllable home.
어디를 공부하고 다 야고 싶죠 자주가 쌤 되다 돈이 도배 싫어하는데 딱가서 배 산지가 고마 마도가 보도 아니 랑게 닝기 위소 아니 배 냠는 거 소제 도래가 다 누가 켜봐져 샤서 야고 싶어 중소서서 성다.
And so I really feel that with this combination of the moon disk of the mind of enlightenment and the Vajra of the mind, the wisdom of emptiness, that we have this incredible potential within us at our heart center that is there facilitating our practice until we attain the state of enlightenment. That's something really wonderful.
야고 쇼서 전화 되나 녀나 사나 토나 잔주가 쓴다 동네도에 셰럽니기 냠내다 맞대와 다 야고 쇼지 제도에 네가 캐버지 중소 선서 다 야고 쇼 중소 선서 가고.
And that's something really, really wonderful. And that I have this kind of, as it were, the aids of that mind of enlightenment and the wisdom realizing emptiness within. That is there with me all the way until I attain the state of enlightenment. That's something fantastic.
어디서 잔주가 쌤 마게바 개바 관내 콘데 돈이 도배 셰럽게 마게바 개바 관내 콘도 보여 돼 답에 지가서 사면서를 답니 사면서를 또 다 야고 싶어 줘서 다 땡에 순ገብ제는 게 랭겐이 로타텔 추류 갈루고 유나 겐가리 잡고 유나 튕게 베네메도도 추다 류다 루네 저 가서 주름을 내두고 속으로 와 어떤 신전에 딜라 튕게 가르쳐고는 계제 가리만에 모트가도는 매버서 튕게 가리는 자네 뒷 공배도 당도면 다 지금 이 삼삼에 빠다 튕게가 랭게가 쪼이 무슨 어떤 공부자 어떤 자
And so really feel that this is these minds are laid down as if they were a seed in my mindset, and that now it is my responsibility, my commitment to care for them. It's just as if it was an external seed, we'd be watering, fertilizing, caring for that seed, etc., and doing everything we can so that it sprouts and reaches its fruition stage. And so it is with us, with that mind of enlightenment and the wisdom realizing emptiness, our commitment to being able to really generate all the conducive conditions we can to allow these mindsets to grow and blossom, and to also really block all inconducive conditions that might thwart or act as impediments to that growth. So we really take this on now as a commitment, as a responsibility.
다 랑게 들려 삼로당원은 진짜 랑게 타고리면 심지어 탐제가 된나시 삼로당 검 제소 삼서 어디게 전에 닦아져 어디에서 중소 삼서 어디를 공부하자
And so really try to kind of familiarize yourself with this way of thinking, with this depth and intensity of commitment as much as we can.
다 심지어 탐제 다른 거라도 삼로 당원나 신전 랑게 타고는 심지어 탐제가 진단신 삼로 당소 진단신 몇바 제소 삼소 어디게 다 몇바 이제고 주 어디를 공부하시죠 뭐들죠
To really visualize that it's not just within myself but in all the kind mother sentient beings all around me, that they are also generating these mindsets within as much as they possibly can.
아니 다가는 이제 랑게 되나 세다 라마 투표 공부디에 투가를 다와 도지 쟁아봐 어떤지 유대가 좀 공부시 어떤지
And that, of course, in the merit field, the main figure of the merit field, the Guru Maninja Shakyamuni Buddha, at his heart center also is to be seen this white moon disk with the upright 5-pronged Vajra marked by the hung.
그렇죠. 아니 디 타고도 또 배성아 다야 타고 뭐니 마무리야 소화유 되게 고마시. 아니 랑게 타고도 랑게 타고 심지어 탐제가 타고도 타고도 이제 생각을 타고는 또 배성아 다야 타고 뭐니 마무리야 소화유 되게 어디로 고마시.
And that around that combination of moon disk and Vajra, around the Vajra of Shakyamuni Buddha in the merit field, and indeed ourselves and all kind mother sentient beings all around us, is the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha, Tayata Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha.
어디를 전다 간제 저 가소래 어디를 저 아니 돈발을 미네 아니 돈배 청아 장대 안데 뭐다 아니 돈배 구송토래 아니 뒤제 밥자잖아 란다라서 심지 단적을 농가서 딩주 다게치 다가니 돈바다 돈배기 투가유에 다와 도지 정아봐 다 아니 그 지가소래 돈배 청아 저절로 야는 뒤제 밥자잖아 야는 되네 란다 니와 빠도 매버전에 라나라는 타가도 심지어 탐제게 다와도 이제 쟁아발라 팀마 어디래 고바시다 뒤교도 저거 야라네 아니 데레스 남네 또 제도나 데레 삼로다 어거디 심볼 야보제 아니 니버치 보제 아니 저 산제게 최 용소 뒤나 잠니지 장주거서 돈이도 베셔라 니가 아니 손도 전에 랑게 줄에 깨답겠다 저기 진압 주의겠다 저기 남네 돔대보 답대보 어째 칸디도 시작 제마도네 쇼가 미과 좀 데레 삼로다는 언도 검자 야 덤베 청아다 야 뒤지 법장도 제들 제도는 야부여 버려 어디를 제
So then from the heart center of the Buddha, from the moon disk and the Vajra marked by the hung syllable, the descending nectar light begins. And so we can start with predominantly the white light, entering into that same Vajra disk combination of myself and all kind mother sentient beings, and purifying all the obscurations, anything getting in the way of our being able to develop these mindsets to their perfection, and to be able to recite the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha at that same time is a wonderful practice to be able to do, and to kind of really understand that this is something that we could insert into our morning practice, following our morning commitments and prayers. It's very easy, very simple, very quick. That we can set this up and engage in this, because it is a very quintessential practice, and indeed a really quintessential summary of all of the teachings of the Buddha, when you are including the mind of enlightenment and the wisdom realizing emptiness there, and availing of that blessing to be able to make it part and parcel of your everyday thinking is very, very powerful practice.
어떻게 삼로다 아니 라기 미지데 강토도게 아니 장주가 쓰다 돈이도베 셔라 마게바 깨바 권에 권도 배게 쳐도다 뒤진도 삼로다 뭐하체 아니 배준체 어다들에서 제가 미지 된다 된 것을 쳐이로 어떻게
And so to make this a life practice is something wonderful that you can understand. You are kind of really trying to make these attitudes of mind, the mind of enlightenment, the wisdom realizing emptiness, is a part and parcel of your life, and to maybe dedicate the merit from all of that to being able to generate these mindsets to their perfection, and thereby really making this life meaningful.
어제 어다 근데 임바자 근데 그 냠내다 지금 차수부 야부 용화라다 지금 로정의 숭이 개보다부터 준주의 숭이 임바에서 오다 나는 좀전 대이치나다 전대지 용의 체도 띠삐다고 어느 관에 거도 다 산제 고마토의 체도 전대 용의 체도 어느 준주의 숭대 라마토의 뭐 komis시면은 어디를 공부시에 체
And that, you know, when it comes to that which is the really powerful aid to such a practice, and we are here listening to the king of mind training texts, the Bodhisattva's way of life, as a way of augmenting our knowledge and dedication to such practice. And so we dedicate ourselves and set our motivation as best we can now.
그래서 그만했어 가세.
Shokran Gyatang Guju Gopsom and the Niba Wogi Tiki Niba Dombala Debe Uba Chawala Ni.
그래 다 니바 도발라 데베 구발 자발라 니차 다 셈제 타달라 부직바다 다제 제베 구발 자와다 다 셈제 탐제 셈제 타달라 부직바다 다길 제베 셈제 탐제라다 도발라 구발 자발라 니차 셈제 타달라 부직바다 다길 제베 구발 자와다 Then Simja Layang Kubarchawa, do the Dema watch, subject nature. Tambu, Simja Tadala, Puchik Watata, Tobala Kubacha Kubatil, Tambutilla. Dagit Zebe Kubachawatilla, Sumjana. San gave Sange gave a Taki over Tuba, Sanje gave a Taki over Tuba. There's a Sanje gave Tabgi Sanje gave Tabgi Zobo Juba Minebang Naje Shaba and Mineba Chichua Tomba Chichin Order Kiva Namje Zobo Juba Mineba Naje Shaba Chichon that Chichon to the Moyve Tobache Ocha. Subject has a subject subject.
So we had stopped at this point in engaging really in the attitude that we should have towards those who might engage in harm towards us. We are looking at one of the main outlines, which speaks about really having respect through having faith in the teacher, in the Buddhas. And this is two main points, two main subheadings, and that is that respect due to seeing all sentient beings or having cherishing all sentient beings as an only child. And secondly, because of that, then showing how this then, so how respect for all sentient beings is included in that attitude. The first of these has again three subheadings, that is respect because of seeing all sentient beings, as cherishing all sentient beings as an only child. This has 3 points. The first is the main means of pleasing the Buddhas. Secondly, declaring previous acts of fault and disrespect, and thirdly, guarding against this recurring in the future. And so with regard to the first, again, that is the main means of pleasing the Buddhas. And this is, again, divided into two, this will be in 2 particular verses. And the first of these is really recognizing the main means of being able to repay the Buddhas. And the second is the actual practice of doing this.
so and was what then that jumps along for this what is what the Sanjay Sanjay Geshe did so a type to so was what did our lesson. Xianyang Yume Nian Juqing, Pemba Bamen Zanala, Simjan Guja Madoba, Shenga Shije, Lenin Jurs.
And so the first of these then is the recognizing the main means of being able to repay the Buddhas is verse number 119. Furthermore, what way is there to repay the Buddhas who grant immeasurable benefit and who befriend the world without pretension other than by pleasing sentient beings?
Order, Shaya Takato de Chicasole Chingarantola Pemba Che de Chicasole Sanjala Keben Yosh, the Yoju Chen, and Pemba to Batendama, but Casolata. Chingaranzo Talta, Pemba Toya, Pantoya, Tagarama, the Sanjala, so Ravakaya, Ravakaya Mabatorta, Pantova Kona, Chetia, Pantovet, Tendego Yong, Nubatu Cheto, and Tambo 2 get Lamla Lab. Ngobazoba Sanjen, Tangobazoba Sanjeduta, Casore, Hamba Tubega, Takaja, Chanjan Yonsoba Zone. What are the shoot at? And Collaging Naranzo full of Pemba Naranzola Pemba Tubne, and Dilet in the Sanjela Kimeraya Kayama, that the Yoju Karan Tawametics, Shea Yoju Samba Mebara. Yoju Samba Mabata, Tuje Chimbi, Rota, Tuje Chimbi Shawan, Simjig Dungan, or Misube Ninja. Roda Ninja de Ongeta, and the Pembe Zabakale Sako, and the Tunja Yonso Soba Yonja Tuja, Lamla Keja Jama Sumala Suba Sosa, Tibachane, and Mobazoba Sanken. What are the legend? Ginger, Tuje Chimbi, Joa Senja, Tamje again. Niendo Jurchas, Roda, Niendo Jurching. Jurching and Joya Pemba, Niendo June, and also that Joya Jan Pemba Pato Meba Zebe, Sanje Namla Sam, Sanje Namla, Simje Goa Jawa Mato, Simje, particular Chicas of the Pemba Julieta, and the Rota, Nega the Taduke. Condition de la Pemba Goa Jawa Mato, Tapshan Kangi, Tinga that didn't get change about the Nazopa, change Sogo Yena, Sogo Yena, Simje. Semja Goa Jawa Mato, Shan Kangi, Tilin Lumber. That Yomar Tilin Lumber Cute, Milumbia, Tilin Lumber Jugudas and Jumare, Milumbia. Semja Goa Jawa Gone, Sanjay, Tin Sogo, started the Tin Chabo, the Tin Sogojana, Semja Goa Javetone, and Tin Sogo, Semja Gobachuna, and Sanjay, and two cats of Chabu Jutugua. Because Sanjay combat the Semja Dewada. There was a day to get the TV and you didn't chant on Meva. What that tells you the same just super Jimba in a Tilla Pemba to Tilla Yabuchana and Sanja Choba Trugudua. What the rest? What's the way? What is it?
And so this verse then is looking at how we should really repay the Buddhas who act, as it says here, without any pretension. In other words, they have no ulterior motive other than to be of benefit. And there's no hidden motive within there. They're completely clear about what they are doing. There's no pretension. And so they act to benefit sentient beings. They have the motivation that's been generated from the moment they have generated the mind of enlightenment, have practiced on the path with that motivation, have actually established full and complete enlightenment only with that motivation. And so they have developed over the 3 countless great eons the skillful means to know what is the best way of being of benefit and only of benefit. They're motivated by the compassion for the suffering that they want to remove, by love for the happiness that they want to establish in sentient beings. And this is the way in which they have acted to see. They are kind of a friend, as they say, to all the world in being able to do this, to all the sentient beings. And so, apart from our being of benefit to sentient beings, there is nothing else that will, no other way of our really being able to repay the kindness of the Buddhas. And so, therefore, we should generate that same aspiration to be only of benefit and of clear benefit to other sentient beings, and to know that it is only that can be pleasing to the to be able to repay the kindness of the Buddhas.
我就是说，他的那100以上，他三界个如果他确保那确的，那三界了偏把主位的多，三界了偏把主马多位呢，那三界了确保跟着是位呢，那确保了马肉跟茶叶，如果他三界了偏把主位呢，那三界了确保主的，他看见第几就了主跟着中华100呢，三界了确保主的多，我的人。 디기기 줄라죠. 뭐서면 균에 디기 줄라죠. 되게 지는 산재를 쳐봐. 다 우라 산재가 공부할 내가보다 타도 그 아니 샘쟁게 아니 디기 중에 디기 용의 채도 아니 토게 람라 공부 좀 봐. 산재 인바 인자 뭐서 균에 샘쟁라 디기 중에 제 토바이나 그 산재를 쳐봐 줘 되게 또. 어디 산재 예배 줄라죠. 되게 또 어디다 되래 또.
And so the main offering then that we can make to the Buddha is to benefit sentient beings, and that that offering is our benefit of sentient beings, to be able to make it one and the same, to be able to kind of make sure that we are creating the cause for happiness of sentient beings, be it temporary or ultimate, be it direct or indirect, but in every sense that we are absolutely focused on 100% wanting to be of benefit to sentient beings, and to understand that that is the main way and that we can repay the kindness of the Buddhas.
아니 산재게 다 말아서 가서 모두 고마토에 타바주에 탐제점바주에 대람 차상화제다 다 아니 되는 어디게 차상화제 대샤바제 뭐지 다 지금 롭종지에 고급 중화에 안 되지고지도 다 된데 그 진천부 인게게 아니 산재들 진지 소고요나 다 샘제라 편바주에래 샘바팅 소에면도 심지어는 평범 주변은 이 산지가 진 소외체도 아니 심지어는 평범 주변들에도.
And so, we have to look at our situation, how we have been so fortunate to find Buddhism, to be able to take refuge in the Buddha Dharma and Sangha, to really hear about the whole notion of benefit of the teachings that are the blueprint to attaining a positive rebirth, or we want to head further on to liberation, or ultimately to the state of enlightenment, that all of the instructions are there complete as laid out by the Buddha, and all of that there is set for our mind training. It's a remarkable treasure of kindness coming from the Buddha. And so really it's how do we really repay that kindness? And here the answer is unequivocal. It's saying that if you're really serious about repaying the kindness of the Buddha, for taking you all this way, is to be of benefit to all other sentient beings without exception.
다 지금 가서도 편바 주위에 오다 지금 야보리에 섬사 출 조기에 섬사지 가라서 강가로라 레데보 주요할 이내 소소는 내가 지금 삼을 때 강에 제대로 열봐. 강에 찾아 되는 제대로 열봐. 다 되는 이제 sem제가 내가 잡아 이나야 아니 딜라 네베 렌데 네가 맞아봐 제제 네베 렌데 편바 주네. 다가저 서바 당보 네베 데 아니 만여봐 서바체 아니 데토네 아니 sem제 sem제들 편바 주 두가지 잡아 이나 왔다 가서데 다디게 다가저 산제기 제소아 산제기 다 지금 가서래 디네 뭐라 산제기 다 진짜 보지 못하다 디네서도 디네스 제국도 와데 뭐 주베토는 왔다 제임버 왔데는 다 산제기 너바 잡아로 소바 잡아서 지다 semjala chikasode pemba chukko de mase neba jeba imane neba dela ane nebele neba majeba chene ane seba dene ane seba chene ane dela semjala mibe ane kingba majeba che kingba pa ane kasode pa neba che de pa pa chene ane pemba chukko res pemba chukko res wada de sunga dene inza kasode semjega neba jebala seba chawa semjala mibe kingba pawa ane kingba pane ane dela neba pangba woche wotre.
And the second of these outlines then was the how to actually and put that into practice, that particular aspiration. And this is 3 points made. The first is that when sentient beings harm us, then we should adopt patience in response to that. Now, of course, we've been talking about repaying the kindness of Buddhas through benefiting sentient beings. And that, of course, is first port of call. But what if sentient beings should harm us? How then should we respond? And the first is not ever to retaliate, never respond to harm with harm. And we apply the principles of patience. And from that patience, calm interior, then we can set out to think about ways in which we can benefit this one who is appearing to harm us. Now, why do we take this attitude? Because this is, again, within the purview of repaying the kindness of the Buddhas. Again, this is part and parcel of actual benefit to sentient beings. And so where possible, we can benefit. But if we can't benefit, then we must never harm. And we must actually really train our mind in patience in order to never fall into this problem. But always to think of our actions of patience, of responding with patience, of applying and integrating patience within the context of repaying the Buddha's kindness. Sorry, go on again. And so that was the first of these particular points. The second was that when in relation to sentient beings, we should completely abandon arrogance of thinking ourselves as superior. And thirdly, we should also abandon harm. So with regard to the first of these, then the root text says. And the first of these, the point of then when sentient beings harm, we respond with patience. Verse 120 says, therefore, since benefiting these beings will repay those who give their bodies and enter the deepest hell for their sake, I shall behave impeccably in all that I do, even if they cause me a great deal of harm.
그러다 어디는지다 선전 강지에서 구소 돌와 구소 도와서 저 산제라네 서로다 구소 도와다 구소 도와다 다 남에도 주가 산제라네 가서 그때 가서 또 나도 주고라서 선제 보마도 세도 선노 맞네 주고 semje gangi chi semje gangi yasa semje gangi chi kuso to wada name do jube sa jube sanje name do jube ta utte de lesa ga sanje la ne semje de da la panda be dile lombar jube na de da sanje de da je ne ba chi bu chena yang semje de da ge so da de we na semje de da ge ne ba chi bu chena yang gyumi chu ba ma se 아니 고송가 조바 탐자 상고대 대달 편바죠. 그러다 편바 자외 탑바시도 제바 자고 셔보죠.
And so it's this verse is describing how then we can repay the kindness of those who have given their lives and entered into the hell without respite, for the benefit of even any sentient being, and that from our point of view we can repay in that there by adopting similar attitudes ourselves to being of only benefit to sentient beings, even if they should harm us very severely. That we should think about how we can repay the Buddhas for those selfless acts, and doing so by not reacting but trying to benefit those, even if they engage in dire harm towards us. So we say, it says here that we shouldn't allow the mind to be upset, but that in every possible way I shall behave impeccably, with the actions of body, speech, and mind towards them, and try to find the means to be of benefit, to think only of being of benefit.
So never java yenaya that nolende any pembe to be water or chicken so never kaza javala dela kaso de nolende la takaja gosumge java tanja sangusho da kanja kaso de ta dela pemba bashi juege 공부시ete 공부대대 게 처와 어디 쓰고도 제발 자고 셔고
And so this is the patience of not responding to harm with harm, but rather actually to transform it completely, that to transform that perception of harm into an opportunity to be of benefit to that sentient being.
다 니바 심젤라 미고서 경바바와니서 경바바와네 레시다게 제주 니장네 강제 란제 꿀라 미세바 데라 몽바다제 지다나 나제 자제 전쟁we 미자.
The next of those subheadings was to really avoid arrogance in our perception of other sentient beings. Verse number 121 states, "When for their sake those who are my lords have no regard even for their own bodies, then why am I the fool, so full of self-importance? Why do I not act like a servant towards them?"
Shenya Reshi Dagi Esa Jebo Juba Sanje Nijani Semje Gangi Chidota Rangi Kulaya Misi Barasa Tongya Yu Semje Deda La Momba Deda Ki Chidana Ngaje Kala Chates Ngaje Kala Chates Denje Ogasa Ngobu Kasa Denje Ngobu Jamirik De Tenyo Shindo Kuba Chakoso Shabawacha.
And so here again, then in in the light of, for say, when for their sake, those who are my lords, refers to the Buddhas, those to whom we go for refuge, and that they, without any care for their own bodies, again, dedicate themselves completely, if it is to benefit sentient beings. And then why do we have such an arrogant attitude towards sentient beings? We should really really think again and rectify this by actually seeing ourselves as a servant, and the necessity of seeing ourselves as a servant to other sentient beings, and to show our respect in this way.
Kuala never in la Tabata Tamjimba to bet in the Imba Digi Yonsag, Taka Shima soldier redwa. That did it in Imba, what that she would take such about the Gachem with Sich and what that drinking Mobucha Mirite, Tayo Shindo Kubachako, so bad drink Tamanish Chen and Delakuba Chen, Gachem with Zine, what the Chibuda Sundo, what the Takuna Yamne, Unetane, Chikasura, so Kasole. Ran Jensen, Lu Danja, and Shen Jensen, Wuna Chicken, that didn't she check who you were. What
And so this is the means by which then we can have a context for placing ourselves in the subservient position towards other sentient beings, of being a servant to other sentient beings, of always showing that respect, because of how much the Buddhas have done themselves, how in the course of abiding in cyclic existence, or even towards their gaining liberation from cyclic existence, all the time they're assisted by the instructions of the Buddhas and the dedication of the Buddha's example, and so on, all those lords of the teachings. And that this is something that we should really take into consideration within our own context, and to see also how this verse is a powerful advocate for the dismissing of the self-cherishing attitude and the adopting of the attitude which cherishes others.
The
next outline is the abandoning of harm, and this has two subheadings. The first of here is the reasoning behind why harm is incorrect, and secondly, that if one harms, then that is absolutely no way then that can act as a means of pleasing the Buddhas or the conquerors. The first of these, then, the reasoning why it's incorrect to harm. This is verse number 122, which reads, "Because of their happiness, the conquerors are delighted, but if they are harmed, they are displeased. Hence, by pleasing them, I shall delight the conquerors, and by harming them, I shall hurt the conquerors."
What the name is that Simja Ganda, the Simja Sui by in there. And did they because Rota did because a digi joina, Tubana Kebachudes, Tubano Kebachude. Kala Nena, that Simja Sui by the Tela Nebata, the Tungaji Joana, Mijaba Juma Juesata, Mijaba Juma Jura. 미지의 중화 규를 두래. 다 심제 대다 가베 두번 동화 그래서 가베에서 동화 그 초도 계셔서다로 투라는 투기를 다시 가서 가서 뭐 디기 용 그래서 심제 대라 이게 디기 규도 그래서 심제 대라 넣어봤잖아 두번은 넣어봐 제발 규로 셔봐서 넣어봐 제발 규도 그래서 셔봐자
So this states how that if we bring happiness to any sentient being, that is something which is pleasing to the conquerors. And if we were to harm sentient being, that is displeasing to the conquerors. Therefore, by making sentient beings happy, we are bringing pleasure to those who are, the conquerors who are all supreme. But if we were to harm sentient beings, then that's the same as if we were to harm those same conquerors.
다만 이제 그 심제 대달을 그래서 대외 두 번에 개발 심제 대달 디기 용답다들 잡아는 두 번에 개발 주고대. 지다 투바 고전에 개발하면 미개와 요 말에 미개와서 동해로 와 투바를 동해 요 말에. 다 귤서다로 와. 지다 투바는 공부라 심제 탐제나 디기 중에 동해 밑에 가지고 공부 요바 인상 아니 가지고 심제 대달 동해 중에 제발이나 아니 투바 미개에 귤을 주고 그래. 미개와 귤도 그러면 투발을 미개와 연구를 해. 연구 말해. 미개와 쓰는데 가보 마중와 쓰는데 동해로 와. 투발을 동해 요 말해. 이나야 귤을 쓰는다. 귤을 쓰는데다 디 귤도 소소는 예바 싸운 거다. 말한줄라. 앞에는 로아다 말한줄 오늘 투바 거두이네 심절에 디기 중화 동해 미중화 지금 공부를 때때도 아니 들려 먼저 동해 써봐 이나 아니 통과 미개에 귤그래. 얘네 두 번은 미개와 연구를 왜? 연구 말해. 상계로 와, 동해로 와, 요 말해. 부탁드려 미개와 귤. 대 귤에서 알아서 대 두번에 당 가서 대 와서 투라 샘제라 디게 중앙 동해 마중 와대 투배 공부 다 뒤준도 다 가서 공부 두 개도네 람랍되는 공부하자 상계는 미디 인장 아니 미개와 귤도 그랬어. 아니 미개와 귤도서 딱 나라서 예바 상고요. 두배 공부하다 미투바 차고요. 봐. 디지 귤스거든. 얘네 들을 때는 두발 동해 연구여서 동해 연구여 말해. 두발은 동해 연구여 말해. 어들 내다 들.
And so, of course, if we read this verse directly, it describes the Buddhas displeased and the Buddhas are hurt. Of course, this is not possible since the Buddhas are displeasure and hurt is suffering, and the Buddhas don't experience suffering. So this is not what is meant here. What is meant that by displeasing or by harming sentient beings, we are causing displeasure. It's the cause for displeasure. But do the Buddhas experience that? No, they don't experience that because that would be suffering. What in fact it's referring to is that you are creating the cause for your own unhappiness in the future. And that's going to be your own negativity ripening into your own hurt and displeasure. And so this is the difference here. That the Buddhas themselves, don't experience displeasure or hurt, but we are creating the causes by our displeasing or harming sentient beings. But it is ourselves who will experience the ripened result of that.
투배 공부하다 미투바 주와로 왔다. 투배 공부하다 디기 중나 동해 미주나 공부. 투배 공부하다 미투바 주와도 미투바 차원도 아니 투바 그 민예바 주와로 와. 민예바 주와로 와. 아니 투바라 민예바 연구하려서는 연구요 말해. 민예바 주와 잡아래. 가서 투배 공부하다 미투바 제와로 와.
And so, yeah, that the notion of the Buddha's experiencing any type of suffering is not in harmony with the cause and effect relationship, because they haven't created any causes to experience such. Therefore, that when they talk about displeasing the Buddhas or hurting the Buddhas in that way, that is contrary to the law of cause and effect. But there will be displeasure, there will be hurt, but it's to our own kind of that it's what we will have to experience ourselves. And so that's for ourselves as ordinary beings, when we don't get what we want, it's that which is viewed as hurtful or harm to us. And we experience that because, we still have the causes to be experiencing that.
Geshe semje nyoba jena yang tuje chena gebe tamme dosa.
And so the second main point of that list of points was that harming sentient beings means that there is no way in which that can be ever pleasing to the conquerors. The root text is verse number 123, which reads, "Just as desirable sense objects would give my mind no pleasure if my body was ablaze with fire, likewise, when living creatures are in pain, there is no way for the compassionate ones to be pleased."
Oreta chidarte pena lula kune mepavesa ta lukune mepawa ina mepave segula soba toba kunje yitewa mijota saya do kwe khala shimbuta desa kibu kare chigi yoba ina ta yitewa kora yonda ko ya dewa mijowa deshindu semjela neba jaba ina neba jana ya da pe deshindu semjela neba jana ya an tu gasa tuje chembo Sanje Chomden Nam and Gebe Tamedo, the Gebe Tamedo, Geber Gue Tabio Marista, Geber Gue Tabio Mare, Sancho the Goduni Gede, Mikeva Yomarte, Yinea, Sosugu Jitan D, and Sanjeli Gebe Choba Majuare, and then there's a Geber Gue Tabia Chavales.
And so here the example is that if the body is ablaze with fire, as it says, there, we have no way of enjoying objects of the senses. So food, delicious food, beautiful clothing, a beautiful place that we are living in. It doesn't bring any pleasure. It's pointless. We are completely, dominated by the suffering, harsh suffering of fire and burning. And so I say, like that, if we are harming sentient beings, then there is no means by which we can be pleasing to the Buddhas. It's not that the Buddhas, again, they experience displeasure, but we have no means of actually, doing that which can be of pleasure, bring pleasure to the Buddhas.
What did it? Sanjay Jibetam. That the Kasana Takanja, Kasana, Simje Shabatilla, never some mare. Rana and Nugu Yoba Yinza, and Sanjay Jibetam Mijuare. Simje Shell and never some mare. Rana and Nugu Yorba. Rana and Nugu Yorba, that never Simje Shell and Nugu Yorta, full of Rana Nugu Yorta, Garato and Sawa Shibuju Yoba Yinza. Sanjay and Ngarato la Tsawa pe the Gaju Ngarato Ngarala Tsawa le, Sanjay Ngarato Tsawa Gaju Tonjuge and the Chawa Yoba. Yoba Yinza, Yoba Yimba Yinza, and Sanjay Kingu Yore, Pa Neba Jabati, and Sosola Gazis and Nugu Yobati, and Sanjay Kingu Yoba Yinti, and the Rwanda, Sanjay to Majaba Jugurwada.
And so when we talk about harming others as, providing no means by which we can please the Buddhas, but even if we were to harm ourselves, and that, that again, that the Buddhas are aware of that. And again, that doesn't provide any means by which that will bring pleasure to the Buddhas. And so he's saying whether it's harming others or harming ourselves, it's the same kind of there's no kind of agency by which then we can bring pleasure to the Buddhas.
심지 현지고 소소로 녀바이나야 내가 소소 녀바야 랑게 쇠바콤 아니 녀벨랜데 펜바 주바이나 산제 개베 쳐바 주도도 봐 가서나 뭐다 내가다 지금 녀게게 로다 간제 파조그는 녀게는 파조거다 산제 개베 쳐바 주고 뭐도다 랑게 뭐네 산제 개베 쳐바 주도도 봐 너가 개게인데 뭐는 산제 개베 쳐바 주고 요 말와 저거 요말때 현재가 소소 내가 개바이나 내가 개인 파적은 거는 산제 개베 쳐봐 두고 요말때 랑게 현재 내가한테 서바콤 발라 때네 아니 네벨랜데 펜바 줘바이나 랑게 거는 산제 개베 쳐봐 개바 쳐봐 두고도 와 현 파적 거는 산제 미개바 줘봐 소고 요때 랑게 거는 산제 개바 줘봐 소두고도 와 와다
And so the kind of the formula is very, very clear. If we are, responding to harm with harm, then that's a harm, and that is something that can never be pleasing to the Buddhas. But if we are able to apply patience in the face of harm, and then at some point being able to respond with benefit to the one who is harming, that is something which is very pleasing to the Buddhas. So that sense of how we deal with harm, it's very, very important that always that we have, when we are kind of in the presence of that one who is harming, that again we have to resort to our own patience as kind of our well of patience, and from that then well that we can seek the opportunity to actually respond with benefit. And you can see how, of course, that is something that will automatically spark pleasure in the Buddhas. The next of the outlines is the one where it states declaring previous acts of negativity and disrespect. This is verse number 124, where it says, "Therefore, as I have caused harm to living beings, today I openly declare all my unwholesome acts that have brought displeasure to the compassionate ones. Please bear with me, O Lords, for this displeasure I have caused you." And so here then, for the reasons as have been explained, all of the previous harm and negativities I've engaged in towards all sentient beings that have caused such displeasure to the greatly compassionate ones, I openly declare all of these negativities without hiding anything, and that I really ask for the patience of the Buddhas for all that displeasure that I have caused because of this harm in the past. The third of that series of subheadings was then to guard against this recurring again in the future. And verse number 125 reads, From now on, in order to delight the Tathagatas, I shall serve the universe and definitely cease to cause harm. Although many beings may kick and stamp upon my head, even at the risk of dying, may I delight the protectors of the world by not retaliating. And so here, then, from here on in, in order to to bring pleasure to all of those gone to bliss, I will hold back from ever harming sentient beings, and indeed I will be a servant of the world. And that even if all sentient, so many sentient beings were to beat me or to hit me on the head or even to kill me, I will not return harm for harm, but I will really apply patience in all those situations. And I pray that may this be pleasing to all the protectors of the world. And so this is really again kind of within the realm of all that opposes the self-cherishing attitude, and indeed in the accumulation of all negative karmas, you know, to put a stop to oppose, to hold back from. All of this is again acting as that which is opposing our insidious self-cherishing attitude. And so then the second main outline is the how all of this is included within the showing of respect to sentient beings. Verse 126 reads, "There is no doubt that those with the nature of compassion regard all these beings the same as themselves. Furthermore, those who see this Buddha nature as the nature of sentient beings see the Buddhas themselves. Why then do I not respect sentient beings?"
다도 잡아대라 태소 매배서 샘쟁기에서 오보통와 대다 샘쟁정 오보통와 대단히 공부 산제 뒤 단위 인베서 그렇다 대배 되는 지지 구바 미제대 내봐도 구바 자고 셔봐보죠.
And so, as the verse says, there is no doubt that those with the nature of the compassion, meaning all of the Buddhas, that through the process of exchanging self and others, they come to see all sentient beings, to regard sentient beings as themselves. And so here it is that, and that all regarding all these beings, them as themselves as well. And furthermore, those who see this Buddha nature, to see the nature of sentient beings as being the Buddha nature. And that here is that why isn't that I have no respect like this? I should really definitely have this. It is necessary that I generate this sense of respect, of seeing all sentient beings in that same way.
니바 소바 공배 pen la 숨제 도대바 도대바사 pen 개발 시바 저 펜게 남자 뒤대 대바 오자 오다 숨제
The next outline is the benefits of reflecting on the benefits of patience. And this is in 3 parts. First is a brief summary of that, then explaining the benefits through example, and then the brief summary of the numbering or the list of such benefits. Okay, let's leave it at that. Leave that for next week.
Yeah. Yeah, that the civil orders. Oh, there's yeah. And the Tanda de Casole Rangi Dungi Nagala Lamatu was set over what the Anjo Kumba Shejo.
And so again, we bring our mind to the figure in the merit field, reflecting on the Guru Munindra Buddha there in the merit field.
Ranga Tagotua and Magi Semja Tonja Masa Meva Yoba to get the Kumbachi.
And reminding ourselves again of that we are surrounded by all kind mother sentient beings without exception.
Tugala, Tawato Zengaba, Dela Hungisaba, and Taito Monimunas on the source. Sending a job, what now ten quarting a job, round the Ranga Tago, the Sinja Tamjaka Tugale, Tawato Zengaba Kubasha.
And that the Buddha and ourselves and all the sentient beings all around us have the moon disk, the 5-pronged Vajra, surrounded by the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha at our heart centers. And so then by focusing on the Guru Munindra Buddha in the space in front, we will recite 1 mala of the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha.
Tayata Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Soha 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 Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Soha Tayata 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 Om Muni Muni Ma Muni
soha tayatao muni muni ma muni soha tayatao muni muni ma muni soha tayatao muni ma muni soha tayatao muni muni ma muni soha tayatao muni muni ma muni soha tayatao muni ma muni soha tayatao muni muni ma muni soha tayatao muni muni ma muni soha tayatao muni ma muni soha tayatao muni 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 ma muni soha tayatao muni 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 muni ma tayatao muni muni ma muni soha 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 tayatao muni
muni ma muni soha tayatao muni
tayatao
muni
muni
ma
muni ma
muni
muni
soha
soha
tayatao
tayatao
muni
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 ma
ma muni soha
tayatao muni
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 ma
ma
muni
muni soha
soha
tayatao muni muni soha
lama tuya ombyuge dawa doji zanga ba da anu kasa de ngaten dombe sanga ngaten dele anu rangda pado meba chuna anu jiga kaso le rangda ranga tawa simje tamje ge tukala dawa doji zanga ba da anu dombe sanga oda pado meba chuna anu dal timsu samsa kuba jana anu janjo sem ma jeba geba kone toni dobe shera ma geba kone kondo pe odele 중사 상사는 또 마찬가지 전대대 구성도가 연대 마시바 셔바대 그래서 배 지금 가서도 심지 타와 안에 또 투에게 안에 연대 개발체 중수 어떻게 공부하시는 야부 이렇게 못했죠.
And so whilst reciting, we visualize the countless rays of light carrying countless of the moon disk, the Vajra and the name mantra from the heart center of the Guru Manindra in the merit field, and dissolving into the same the moon disk, Vajra, and a name mantra combination at our own and all the sentient beings all around us at our own heart centers. And that from that, we have this kind of feeling that we have this special kind of potential to generate that mind of enlightenment and that wisdom of emptiness as symbolized by the moon disk and the Vajra, that the mind of enlightenment that has not generated may generate more and more and more, that spark of the wisdom of emptiness that has not yet developed may develop more and more within us.
ruada debata and it jawa sabta chine and be when I call a tebe combat to be given nuba kewachi shafts what did it
and that all the qualities of the enlightened body, speech, and mind may start to develop within ourselves as well, and that we gain an ever more subtle understanding of these wonderful qualities to be able to generate them as quickly as possible in our own mind stream.
What is that? So the comes on drawing to cover give a yena, what up? Dunga sumleta, dunga chawa dunga jue dunga, that chawa duje dunga majaware, that chawa duje dunga jawaji majo bado, by Munatana digis, the tapa mayo touches our touches our chawa duje dunga digga and dunga shabaji shiden chengutua. That is that. Then you must go, then say, never join Yanjong to Compassion. And then Yanjong never lot Rangi Chivola, you get Pamji Kyoso, some such a Pam Yoso Jovale, and Casodeta, Pamatama Java, Chihuat and Kyoso, some such a. Then that, Simja Tamjago, Sanja Kuma to Gains and Nati Kavato Sechu. Then Nati and round to Mundo, that Seju, Nati and Rangi, Sem de Redue, Yana Rangi, Ludi Redue, Takan de Java, Ya Chico Seawood, and Nigu Mario, the money what you done or Tati, Caritating Sanga, maybe Tamar, and I want to Matubating, I want to do something to Sons of Kumacha. And then they gave a lot Rangi Chivo. And you Hunjila Joso, Sons of Hun also Jovali, making with Yakon Joso, some such. That the name by Yisa, one Matua in the Potenajuan, Tenajuan into and Sanjay Gomasa in there, then there to you, touch you, that you have a touch of Sasha, Casco, you get the Mongo Sovala, and could do do. What that in the to you, what my don't do some such and that's the time they go to Sanjay Gomama to the Trigumoto. They are new to do too much Sons of Combacha. The name gave it to Badi. And Rangichivo, Nimetendo, Nimetendo, Igi Achila Juso, some such. Adi also Juvala, Taraji when Yaka Juso, some Kumacha.
And so, of course, reflecting on the state that we are in, that of cyclic existence, and understanding that we really cannot get beyond suffering whilst in cyclic existence, so we have to bear with the suffering of change, and in particular, pervasive suffering, and to kind of realize, quite sadly, that, you know, without getting beyond pervasive suffering, there is no real possibility of any definite happiness, and that's for sure. And so we have to gain this sense of definite emergence, the renunciation that will propel us, that will spark us into attaining liberation from this reality. And that renunciation is symbolized at our crown by the syllable Bam, which is then transforms into the lotus mandala seat at our crown. And then this self that wants to attain that liberation, when we look to find that self, searching within the body, searching within the mind, and then the mere not finding of that self, just focusing on that mind of the mere negation of the object of negation, and that self doesn't exist in the way it appears, and it cannot exist in objectively. And from that mindset, then is symbolized by the syllable home, which it transforms into the sun mandala seat on our crown. Then understanding how this there's this lack of any self-powered existence, really we have to conclude that phenomena arise in dependence. And this brings forth the whole cause and effect situation. It validates the law of cause and effect. And therefore, we can have the aspiration to, for example, attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, with the confidence of knowing that if we establish the causes, they will, in the context of dependent origination, result in the state of enlightenment. And so that mindset of the mind of enlightenment is symbolized by the syllable A, and that transforms into the moon mandala seat at our crown.
살숨 선대 저발한테는 살담비 가서 배 니베 가서 쇼 숨베 가서 땡도신 산제 고마마도 어디 제수 송송사 때네 야라도마 멜레데 저바피 어디레전 어다 안데 야라도마 멜레 저바 푸도 어느 랑게 주어 라마 투베 공부티 투가를 때 투기를 대화 통 대외 동바제 대도 니스베 이시 계수 서서 어디네 공부자
And so then we make the invocation verse, O glorious and precious root guru, come take a lotus of moon seed placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of body, speech, and mind. At the end of the first recitation, the figure moves from the space in front in the merit field. At the end of the second, they have arrived at our pre-prepared seat on the crown. And at the end of the third recitation, we have the certainty that the Buddha will remain until we attain that state of enlightenment. We make the offering of the 7 limbs of practice and the mandala offering. And this brings joy and pleasure to the mind of the Buddha on our crown. And then this conjoins with voidness, and they abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness.
then 양조 공부 시조 잠이 가서데 지금 감수 도와주고 가밖에 봐 있네. 다 감수 뭐 가밖에 봐 있네요. 아니 그 지금에 전에 저 거기서 뒤에 천년 상관이 다 자원이 됩니다. 그러다 내가 그 교회 동네처럼 하는 거죠. 대왕회 센터에서 뭐 천년 상관 자원이 됩니다. 다 되네 이마저 그 땡겨에 대화지 저거는 고아되나 타와지 맞춘다 타면도 써서 오다가 이제 내가 저 연주 양조 공부 시조 자도 아니 근데 연중 예별로데 랑게 치고 어르고 건다 랑게 닝갈 아니 이게 빰질라 줘서 랑닝데 이게 빰질라 줘서 삼사차 아니 대 빰데 용서 줘발래 아니 뺨마다마게 바질라 줘서 삼사차 어디서 고마셔 되네다 지금서 심제 탐제가 뭐 되네다 가자 저 심제 탐제가도 산제 고마 두고 있어 나한테 가봐도 제주 아니 제가 제 전에 아니 나 많이 받아 가란 걸 셈샤 아니 되네 와다 나데 유대는 주바서 근데 뒤자면 도서 코다 줘봐 공부하시네 어디지 아니 되네 가자 가섬 데라 로샤네 아니 되네 동방예배 로디 어서 이게 홍지를 교수 선서 홍 요소 교발했다 니 가서 랑게 뺨마다마게베 때도 니 뺨마다마게베 때도 어느 홍 요소 교발에 님의 정원야 가와 교수 삼사자 되네다 셈제 탐제거도 산제 공원 마다면 타면도 대한 요원이도 맞아도 타면도 잘 주바지기 사서 고바자 되는 예배가 되바디 아니 이게 아치라 교수 선서 아 요소 교발에 다외 정원야 가와 교수 내가 받아서라 맞아 보자 다 니가 빼면 가서 구소도 좀 구조 자도 소되잖아 담배 가서 패 니베 가서 쇼 수메가 때서 산제 거만 마도 봐도 제 수고 선다 야고 쉬고 좀 산제 거만 마도 봐도 랑게 니 유수 다 라마투야 뭐 다 내서 선서 어떤데 고마자 아니 되는 란닝 빼마다 되대 카인데서 남진닝네 단세 뒤가도 도저가 뭐 상관자 가게 뒤 타고도 뜸배 상아 다에도 뭐는 뭐什么수고 거되게 되네 지도 잠에가 소 엄마 알아봐서 나티티티티티 스텔레 코라 인트레스트 잡되게 되네 된데가 소 엄마 예다마 또 바로 마샤만에 소아서 때 뭐 수고 거되게 저어들레 전 어들지 고마셔
And then we again reflect on the state of cyclic existence and understanding how wherever we are born in any of the 6 realms of existence, we are met with suffering, and we can really never hope for any fully qualified happiness within that state. And so from that, we're developing that mind of renunciation, of that definite emergence, and that is symbolized by the syllable Pam, now at our heart center. And that Pam then transforms into the lotus mandala seat. Again, through reflecting on this I that wants to attain this liberation, searching for that I within the body-mind complex and reaching the point of not finding that I, of the mere negation of that object of negation. This brings forth then that symbol of the mind of emptiness, which is the hung syllable at our heart center, and that transforms into the sun mandala seat. Again, through reflecting on that, the lack of any objective existence or self-powered existence, that is then logically leading to the conclusion that phenomena arise in dependence. And that whole mindset of seeing how all phenomena arise in dependence allows for or validates the law of cause and effect. And again, bringing to mind that we can accumulate the causes to attain the mind of enlightenment, to attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. The mind of enlightenment is symbolized by the A syllable, and that A syllable at our heart center is transformed into the moon disk mandala seed. And then the petals of the lotus fold over and are sealed at their tips by a white 5-pronged vajra, and that package is surrounded by 3 mantras. The name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha in a clockwise direction, the mantra of Manjushri in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination in a clockwise direction again.
Wata rangi ningi wiso lama tuya oba neba di anu kusung tole wese trene rangi chibone kandi ki palo wese trebe anu rangi lugi nantaja anu chega koso lama tuya oba kusung tole yunde wese trene anu beta rangi pama mewa sabe tikwa dere keba tuya sojo majile mizanzo zun chama chizo ngaja nase nusen lada la sabe pama mewa ne tu deringi pato tu dandagi pato sabe tikwa dere driba 다가제 지금 제가 가나보다 라신 가다 보니 내가 간디서 싸요 봐나 다가는 생게 지금 랑게 세람 디양 세랑가마 디양가마라 소베 지금 도바켈레는 소다가 도바켈레 봐 자주서베 라바켈레 봐 상하게 담지켈레 봐다 라소베 담지 따다 마소는 도바 켈레 아니 따다 마소는 내가 먹고 싸와 되네 요르바 안 되다가 내가 그래 싸요 봐 대다 탐제 봐다 다가는 생 지금 거서 지금 파마라마 구발라 소베다 제 라마도 로벨라 마구라 소베 오다가 이제 내가 근리지 싸요 봐 이나야 로다가 이제 지금 토리 타바다 탐제 캠에 계속 주에 내가 근리지 싸요나 다가 이제 지금 다가네 지금 레 녀마산이 남인기 제부 다가네 지금 녀아 준데 자바 규데 단데라 소베 내가 근리지 오다 들리죠 레녀 바사 근리지 와나 봐 장제다 다가는 생각 랑게 냠레 삐다고 용하라 랑게 루디 대단 거네 소소 루게 내 나잘 소바 탈이요나 다가는 저 랑게 냠레 삐다고 야고 용하라 셈 대단 거네 아니 셈툭 대봐 아니 저 남자 콘도 사초죠 롱랑 초죠 남자 셈 뭐지바 차초죠 근데 교연자와 강내다 카리요바 임바이나야 내가 그거 매바 차서 시와 차서 매바 차서 삼사 오 되게 아니 공부하셔 다가는 지금 란주를 뺐다 지금 가서도 지금 세딜라 또바 켜봐져 깨발라 알 하도도 지금 가서 세딜라 산제 공부 토발라 랑게 싸롱 틸레 되게 아니 가서도 누가 딱딱 내고요 안 되게 냠도와 이래 야쇠 받아 와다 되네 저는 오든 지금 딱 되게 그래서 르다 세고 교육이 차디가도 막 다네 아니 중식 코인요 봐 자롱 틸레 교육도 봐 장네 아니 지금 또바게 그 누가 컨디스코 되게 그배 지금 좀들이 해야 되는 거지 어든에 공부시 학도도 되게 건가 용사저做的 가서 단지 말이 봐 랑젠진 오다 들을때 되게 아니 교육 타자 봐 바차자 봐 장을 누가 켜봐져 줘서 학도도 뉴도 산제 공부 토발라 탐에게 나셔지 교육 지주이 봐 탐에게 나셔 교육 타자 단 가나다자 다바람 잡아지 차도 야고 쉬우 중수 공부샤
So then from the Buddha within the lotus petals, light rays begin to emanate from the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha, permeating through every cell of our bodies, from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. And from this suffusing of our whole body-mind system with the light of enlightenment, the Buddha's light, we are completely purified of all negativities that we have accumulated since beginningless time, and that all those negativities have completely been eradicated. Then the possibility of all those ripening effects of those negativities are gone. The effects that are in accord with the experiential cause, the habitual cause, all these, the causes that could be environmental negative effects, they are all, as it were, stunted and will not happen for us. All of the negativities that have been proscribed by the Buddha, or the naturally occurring negativities of the 10 non-virtues related to body, speech, and mind, of all the negativities that we've accumulated in this life through, and in previous lives through not abiding within our vows, be they the Pratimoksha vows, the vows of the Bodhisattva vows, the vows and pledges associated with tantric vows. And so wherever we have degenerated these vows again, that they are all completely purified on all the negativities that we have accumulated through showing disrespect from to our parents, up to our gurus and our preceptors. All these negativities have been completely purified. All the negativities that are associated with physical ailments, creating inconducive conditions for us for our practice. So of the mind states, such as being easily angered or easily frustrated and so on, that all these negativities are completely and utterly purified. And all these negativities, again, that have holding us back from being able to generate realizations in this life, namely the degeneration of the elements within our body and the channels and winds and drops. May they all be rebalanced and rejuvenated. And then all of the negativities associated with the self-grasping attitude and the self-cherishing attitude, as well as the imprints of those minds, are utterly purified. In particular, that which holds us back from quickly being able to attain enlightenment, namely the ordinary appearance. Again, this is now substituted for pure appearance.
So the Shindo Travel Assembly Nilenja Lama Shaja Sanga to the Lenji Chicken, so system the Lama Shaja Sanga to the Josos, Rangel Lunga Yeso, Lama Shaja Sanga Kuzundo, Yeme Josos, Ti Dewati Tomba de Dewang and Tedonis by Ishikeso, Samsa Water Kombacha, and Rang Nesa Nedia, what I knew it during Tamje Dane, and Lama Shaja Sanga Tabe Shindo Joso, Samsa Water Kombacha.
And then through the combination of my own most subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, together with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own body is transformed into the enlightened body of the Buddha. And then through the combination of my own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together with the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own mind is transformed into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And then I see my whole body, speech, and mind now as being inseparable from the body, speech, and mind of a Buddha. This brings forth a sense of bliss, which combines with voidness, and I abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. The place that I am in is purified of all fault. It becomes the palatial abode of an enlightened being.
Lama Shaja Singer, Kusu to the Go Yeme Juate, Nala Rashim Mavach Kombasha, and a day to Lama Shaja Singer, part of Mavra, Simjang Town in your part twin. Lama Shaja Singer, Chasawa, Simjang Timbalatena, Senja the data Lama Shaja Singer, Kusu to the Go Yeme Josu, some such. Senja the data Nesata, now I eat out to do me, Hama La Soba, Takanja. Lama Yosunga, Sumeka, La Soba, Taka, the Koeg net that George do net, no, you can't have Lama Shaja Sanga Tavish to Jus, something water. what the Tassimja Tamja Sanjay Sala cooking is a Tanima didn't go to the Taya with you, Sona Kawako.
And so again, then through seeing myself as a fully enlightened being, seeing myself as lacking any inherent existence and not existing in the way that I appear, I send out countless rays of light equal in number to all the sentient beings in all the 6 realms of existence. And that they, through dissolving into all those sentient beings, they are purified of all faults, they have been granted all of the positive qualities, and they spontaneously arise as fully enlightened beings. And also all their places within, whether the hell realms, the hungry spirit realms, the animal realms, the human realms, the asura realms, the celestial beings within the desire realm, even those in the form and formless realms, all purified again, and they become palatial abodes of enlightened beings. Again, having this realization that today is the day of being able to actually lead all these sentient beings to that state of enlightenment. How wonderful that is. I completely rejoice. And understanding that this leading of all sentient beings to the state of enlightenment, the virtue that has facilitated that, and myself as the agent of that virtue, completely lack any inherent objective existence and are merely imputed by thought. This dissolves, it just leads to a state of the bliss which combines with voidness, and I abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness.
Data no the some of them no way the level still your marva yata, so that someone nation. Munekora data to be any jury to shows. What I did on all so Sanja Goma Tamido. Sanja Goma Tawala di Ju, Chanjuka Tony to be shared and Yams Balana Tamido. That the name by Yenza, that's also Karachika. Chanjuka Tony to be shared the Katu in and Yamsla Google seem to watch it. Rangi Chikaso, Sana, Donna, Dena, Takaja, Kibuchuna, Tubuchuna, Nasa Chuna, any chicken. Chikazo 다 개과차나 타마 시조와 이바에 내단 근래제 차와 이나야 디가서 자주 거서다 돈이 되면 싫어 냠내제 구급도 다데네 인사 디 구급도 셈도 받체네 아니 그거도 르기면 아니 그거도 셈도 받체네 자주 섬마게와 깨봐 권에 건도 배 돈이 또왜 싫어 마게와 깨봐 권에 건도 배라 아니 데데스케다 거서도 냠내게 내데 셈도 받치기 삼사죠 어디를 공부하자
And so, of course, this what we have visualized here today is at that level. The visualization and the aspirational things aren't accomplished so easily. Yet, when we dedicate, now we dedicate with absolute sincerity that just as I have visualized, may it come to pass as quickly as possible. And then knowing that, in order to really make that sincere, I need to attain that state of enlightenment. And to attain the state of enlightenment, I need the 2 main causes for that. That is the generation of the mind of enlightenment and the wisdom realizing emptiness. And so that's where my focus is to be, to actually generate that, to grasp every opportunity for the increasing of and the enhancing of those 2 mind states, regardless of what situation I find myself in. Whatever I am doing, whoever I'm with, whatever I'm engaged in, may I see it as an opportunity to generate those 2 mind states. Whether I'm sick, aging, even at the point of death, may I see it simply as an opportunity to again suffuse my mind with that mind of enlightenment and the wisdom realizing emptiness. And that to understand that this is a necessity, that is something that I need to be able to do and to dedicate myself in this way. And to may, that mind of enlightenment, which is not arisen, arise and grow, where that mind of emptiness, not arisen, arise and grow and increase more and more. Lai mo san You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion, not aimed at true existence. And Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Losang Drakpa, at your feet, I make requests.
Okay, take care.
Thank you again, Lord.